What's up, people? Hello, and welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. It has absolutely been a wild and crazy weekend in the Premier League, and we have enjoyed every second of it. Hope you have as well. So let's start with, let's get the likes up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thanks for being here, and thanks for listening. Absolutely. I think today we can start Chelsea Football Club. Have won another game away to Fulham. 2 goals. I mean, it's almost a perfect day. I don't think anyone got injured.
No.
I mean, this is about as perfect of a day as it could get.
It's been a while since we had one like this. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt the high press caused some problems. Colwill out of nowhere with a world-class assist.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's been doing that all season long. Like what? And Mud Dog.
Finish. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Off the shoulder, a little one time. Yeah.
How big is that for Murdryk?
I think it's big. He's a young player. He needs confidence. You can see him make the right choices without the finishing product. Like he's very. We've said it about Mud Dog a lot leading up to this, and it still is. He's unpolished. A lot of potential, a lot of value to be built there. Good footwork, good speed, has a knack for being in the right spot at the right time, which is why he got the goal today. It's just unpolished. He needs that. He needs that coaching. He needs that development still, and I think it's big for him to get the first one on the board. It was a great goal to get. It looked very much so like the preseason goal. Just hit it hard, hit it early. Kind of seems to be kind of his bread and butter when he does score. So a little bit less dink and dive and run it all the way.
Doesn't think about it too much.
Yeah, exactly. Just hit it early and keep it going. But I thought he had a good game, and I was happy to see him start. I was happy to see him convert the start over. I wish it was against a better team than Fulham, but I'll take what we can get at this point.
Yeah, they weren't awesome.
No,
that must be said.
They were not. They were not. No, they made us look like the old Chelsea, which was nice. But it is.
Let's not go too far, but
it is. Fulham, yeah,
they made you look. You definitely had a good performance, and I thought that maybe they could have grown into the game a little bit, but once you scored,
it was early too. We haven't scored early like that in a while, and like I said, we haven't scored in the 17th in a while.
It was the 1-2 punch.
To be in control of a game early is something we haven't had since the beginning of last season, maybe.
I haven't seen Chelsea control a game in
beginning of last season, maybe.
Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? But but in this one, I thought you did. I thought after you got the 2 goals in, they kind of seemed shell shocked and.
2 good performances back to back. I was happy with the Brighton performance as well. I was happy with this one. So, maybe Pochettino's turning around. I mean, we're getting our injury list back, which was a big issue last season. It still is.
It's a huge issue now.
With Chile going out. Yeah, now it's, with Chile going out. But I think Cucurella coming back at the exact same time Chile goes out, which is why we bought Cucurella, right? Like, this is why we bought the insurance policy that we do have in defense, is because it just so happens that all of them went down at the same time. We're supposed to have these gaps filled if they're all healthy. Cucurella coming back, playing on the right, plays Colwill.
He was actually decent.
Colwill sits back a little bit deeper. Yeah, it gives Mud Dog the ability to run without having someone right there over his shoulder. Colwill puts the ball in. It's all you can ask for from a left back. I can't complain any. As much as I would like,
he was center back. He was deployed center back. I'm not sure how he ended up in that position, to be honest with you. Because if you look at the team sheet, he's in the center.
Yeah, he's been playing that left corner all season though. So it's like, it's weird how they actually they'll set. It's almost like a FIFA match, right? You'll see the formation set up, and then the game starts, and that's not what
happens.
It's a loose structure on. Yeah, he hits the formation. He hits the tactic button, the RB twice over, and the whole formation just shifts.
Yeah.
So, but I was happy to see it. Broha, coming back from injury, being gone a long time, coming up. And
he's looked decent so far.
think it's I mean, he looked decent when he was there last. They looked hungry. I like strikers that look hungry. I've said that before about
He
Jackson.
just
About
never had a run in the team.
I mean, he got hurt his second game with us. Like
Yeah.
he's never been an option. So
Yeah, I was trying to think back. I was like, what do I remember about him? What have I seen? And the first thing that popped in my head was a Southampton jersey.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
Like I said, he got
this man don't even look right in the blue.
nope. I think it's big for Pochettino to get on this run. Lewis said this a lot last season. It's all about the momentum building. It's all about the run you can build and the run you can go on. And we need this now because we have a harder schedule coming up. Like we have.
It's not coming up. It's here. It's not coming up. It's here. You got Burnley next weekend.
Right.
And then out of the international break, it's over.
It's over. Right.
You start at the Emirates.
So, we need those. We need those points at Burnley. We need these points now. I don't want to finish mid-table, and I don't think Pochettino has that goal either. We're going to show up big in the cups. I know he wants a domestic this year. And, honestly, it's sad to say, but, like, after the Brighton, until today, I felt like after the Brighton game, it looked like that was the goal this year. Finish mid-table, take a cup home, we'll call it a win. And
let's get those 40 points and then we'll talk.
Right. I just want to be back in Europe, even if it's in Europa or a conference. Like we deserve that. We're a club that needs to be there. Playing like this, I think we can get there. But like I said, long road ahead, hard schedule coming up. We need the momentum moving forward, and we got that done today. I was very happy with it.
I want to ask about Cole Palmer because one time he sees the goalie out and he tries to hit the goalie from 70 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. You tried that, sure, whatever. But then like 10 minutes later, he does it again. He's in his own box and he just rips one. And I'm like, okay, Broja's gonna wait, there's nobody.
There's nobody.
What was he doing? He seemed a little off today.
It's again like get in where you fit in. He said it himself. I think it was after the Brighton game.
What's this? His third start?
Yeah, it's he doesn't necessarily know where everybody's going to be, and when you're playing the game this fast and how fast paced the Premier League can get, you have to know that man's making that run, or you have to be comfortable with each other. And there's such a disjointment with this squad, which is something I've said at the beginning of the season. When you only have 30 games together, it shows when you play a team that has 180 or 200 games together.
You got more players than games together.
Right. And I think Palmer's just adjusting to that, and he doesn't want to make the big mistake. So, when in doubt, hit C19. So,
yeah, sure. Yeah, great performance. You definitely need it. Going forward versus Burnley.
I picked Chelsea to win this game, didn't I? I think I did.
You said 1-1 according to my records.
No, that's fine.
Patrick nailed it with a 2-0. I said 1-1. So yeah, I thought Fulham were going to be better, to be honest, and
me too.
I feel like they're going to struggle this season. I feel like
they're in the boat that they better be glad they're only staying up because there's people who are significantly worse. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, they're missing Mitrovic so hard. I thought when the season first started, first couple of games they looked all right, and I thought it wouldn't be such a big loss, but Raul Jimenez just ain't cutting it.
I mean, it's hard to make up when you lose 18 goals last season. You got something
a lot.
Like that? Yeah,
a lot.
That's massive. Yeah. It's massive.
But yeah, I definitely think that it's a good win. I feel like pressure was building on Poch, and he kind of pushed it away just a little bit. So he's got a little bit of breathing room, we'll say. But I think that this game was heavily influenced by the quick 1-2 nature of the goals, and it was able for you guys to be a little bit more comfortable, and it showed.
Yeah, we haven't played, like I said, man. We've played every game, it feels like, this season from a a desperation standpoint, and it just
Mhm.
didn't have that in this game because we got out early. There just wasn't. I mean, it was almost like the Liverpool game. The Liverpool game was so back and forth for us. We didn't play desperate. We didn't feel the pressure of that game. We played it very open. We played it our style. We played this one very similar. And it's
I'd
just
say this is best you've looked since then.
yes. When we go down a goal, it like these boys are so young, and that's the lack of leadership on the field. And that shows. Like these boys go down a goal, and it's like, okay, I'm going to run and gun in the next 10 minutes, and you burn out all of your gas and all of the mentality it takes to actually grind out a 90-minute game, and you end up losing 1-0 to I'm done.
Whoever.
To Nottingham Forest.
To Forest, right. So,
Yes.
That's how you, and I get it. I've been on teams like that, and it's just like I've been on teams where we haven't played a lot together, and you go down 1-0, and you don't know who that guy is that's going to step up. You don't know who the playmakers are that's going to put that together, and you play desperate because it's all individual. It's like, no, I have to make the play to hit that man, or I have to make the play to hit that shot, and it's just like you can see a lot of individual effort, which we'll get to the United section, which is I think a thing that is plaguing their team. And I don't want I don't want these boys to fall into that. And I think Pochettino is a good manager for it not to happen, which is why I'm glad he's here. I would have expected a better start, but again, when you have more guys in the hospital, then you can feel the starting 11.
Well, in addition to that, he was putting fires out too when he got there. So it's just several things going on. I mean, I'm glad to see them make the progress. I prefer to celebrate than to hate because it's about feeling good, and they had a chance to feel good. They looked good early. Cole is cold as coal, man.
He's going to be good. He's going to mesh in this team very well.
He was always going to be. I think he's a good player. I mean,
he brings a lot forward. Like he has you can tell a lot of our wingers or attackers don't have this like. Sterling does, but he loses it as soon as he gets anywhere near the goalie's box. But like this attacking mindset to actually go on goal, to put a shot in on goal, even if it's a chip, if it's a C19.
Even if you're 70 yards out.
You know what? At least someone shooting the ball, man. That's something we haven't had in the last season and a half. So like, I'm fine with that, man. Like at this point, I'm fine with it. Like, we'll dial it in later, but we need shots on goal. Like it's just something we lack.
Well, and it's about unfortunately, we live in the world where we like to follow people. So I mean, I think Cole sees an opportunity. It's sort of like the idea of what Sterling, Zinchenko, Jesus, and all other City guys who left City while they were winning and went to another team. It's like, hey, this guy was with winners, so he's gonna bring that. So I think he's embracing that and saying, hey, hey, man, those guys were winners. I'm going to do the same thing they're doing. Just follow me. And because there's a, like you said, there's a void there. There's no leadership. And your leader might be a 22-year-old guy.
If you add our entire roster, the people who are younger than Thiago Silva, they all equal his age. Like, like it's Thiago Silva and then like 23 or 24. Like that's the gap that we have in our team.
The only reason your average age isn't like 22 is because he's 97 years old.
I saw a thing where it was like Colwell and Chuka put together days on Earth. It's like 13,192. Thiago Silva has 14,000 days and some change. He was like, he has more days on Earth than the other two defenders. Yeah. Or I think it was Wesley Fofana. It was something like that. Yeah, it was like Colwell and Fofana, and it was 13,000 days. Thiago Silva, 14.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Well, yeah, Chelsea get the win. Yes.
Now, right? They're 11th now. There was a huge win.
Yeah.
Big weekend for the table for us. We needed the 3. Right.
So. Definitely a big weekend at the table. I'm gonna pull it up right quick. That's a good call. But yeah, definitely a good win. Murdryk's gonna be maybe settle a little bit more. Good to see that. Gallagher, Enzo, and Caicedo actually they finally looked good there in the center. I thought they actually controlled the game. Yes, 11th. Good call on goal difference here.
I think they're +1 or something like that.
They are +1 on goal difference above Forest there. Right behind United. So you're still on the coattails.
I feel a little horrible for thinking this, but you mentioned something about Mudrick, and then I thought about the Scary Movie thing where the guy was with the girl, and then he was excited, and he finally got his goal. And I was like, it's gonna be fine from this point forward.
Oh my
I hope
goodness.
so, man.
Yeah. You can only
I think
hope.
he got a bit lucky though. Like, keeper has his legs wide open.
Hey, man, you know, sometimes the lucky goals are the goals
The
that
goal, yeah.
bring
I don't
careers.
know. I don't know, man. That was a good take, a good
It's a
takedown,
good hit. It
a
is.
good hit. Yeah, definitely a good goal.
Control
And,
it off the control it running that fast off the
Yeah.
niche. Put it in front of you. Yeah.
Fantastic, absolutely. Hopefully he can kick on, and hopefully Chelsea will kick on. They got Burnley, and then after the international break, it's the proverbial gauntlet.
Yeah.
You know,
It's,
starting at the Emirates, where I'm hoping it's going to be a bloodbath, but we will definitely get to that when it comes around. Lewis, 2 in a row. What's going on?
Well, it's
Wolves.
not 2 in a row in the league. It's 2 losses in a row.
Well, it's about to be 2 in a row in the league.
I'm not going to talk trash because I don't talk trash. It's not my thing. But
he's licking his shot. No, they're doing this. You're doing it on purpose, not to interrupt you, Lewis. City's doing this on purpose. They lost. They're like, yo, we go to play Arsenal. We're going to lose twice before we play them to give them a little bit of hope. And then we're just going to absolutely rip their heart out.
You watch your mouth.
You know but here's the funny thing about that, right? Like, so for the cup game, we played just guys, right? And you could see we weren't really into it, and you knew Newcastle really, really wanted that game. So you're playing against that, and City were still in the game. I wouldn't necessarily say they played bad or poorly, but they didn't play like great, right? In the Newcastle game. In this game, they didn't play well at all. And the thing that was there was, and Patrick brought this up in the last one, and I was wrong, because he was like, well, how do you think, or it might have been you, Jake, you said, how do you think Nunez is going to take it? Nunez was a shambles, man. Like, he didn't know what to do. They booed him, and it just completely destroyed him.
Yeah, that was funny.
It destroyed him. I'm like, dude. I mean, and you know, the thing about
every time.
But the thing about it is that resonates everywhere, because we're asking you to replace Rodri. and you don't have steel in your spine, man. And you know this stadium. Like, what's wrong now? To give Wolves credit again, because I've always given the opponents, if they can get the victory, they give them the credit. I'm not going to complain about anything. But City always plays Wolves really scrappy, so it's always like that in every fixture. Every time they play them, it's scrappy. And Wolves had a little bit more juice because they wanted to tell the Nunez guy who behaved in a way before he left to kind of push his transfer on. It's like, hey, well, this is what you're missing. And I mean, I know they could say, hey, we may not win the title, but you're not going to get the love here anymore, which, it is what it is. It was funny. So Nunez got the yank. Kovacic looked pedestrian, to be nice. He looked rough. And then you had now the funny thing is that you had guys where they were spry everywhere, but they was so disjointed in the midfield. Like, the final third was fine. The defenders were sort of scrambling everywhere, but that's because there was no sort of cohesion between the midfield. So they didn't really know where to be or what to do, because there's normally sort of like balance or sort of calm or stability in front of them. So across the board, they just looked bad. I mean, it was funny because this was the first game that commentators were like, well, we're not going to ask how many touches Haaland had. So the first game they don't question the number of touches he gets is the game that he's not there at all. And there was a criticism of him where, he's not the guy to pull you by, the scruff of the neck and lead you into a victory. He's the guy that he will help you if you're doing what you're supposed to do before you get there. He's your finisher, right? And so this is where, obviously some people may make the claim or the argument that he's not as good as whatever, right? But I mean, we all knew he was this. He's a striker. I mean, we know when you're midfield,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh no, I was gonna say he's just the Giroud type of striker. If you don't find your target man, if you don't supply the target man, because that's what he is. He's a kind of a hybrid, new prototype hybrid man or a target man.
Right.
If you don't supply that correctly, you're not gonna like Giroud's one of the best in the world. There's been spells where Giroud didn't score but 7, 8, 9, 10 goals an entire season. So like you have to supply it correctly, even though if they are clinical or when they do finish like that. I think you're right there, Lewis. He's just not. I think he's a leader, but he's not like you said, not the one who's gonna pick the whole game up by the scruff of the neck and drag it all the way to the by himself. He is clinically target man.
Well, and then you got to put it on there. So when you mention leader, then you can fairly criticize Kyle Walker because I mean, while he's not necessarily your wing back, he didn't really offer anything in the game. And then you say, well, because then you start going down the line. Okay, Phil Foden should have done something. And I mean, Pep kept moving him around. So and then the other thing, and this thing really mattered, is then and there was a rightful criticism of Pep as well too, because Pep criticized Rodri for getting his red, which was right to criticize him for the red. But Pep got the yellow in that game, which in the other game, which led to that. And if he's gonna say, hey, Rodri has to know better to not affect the team, you're a manager. You know how many yellows you were on. So okay, so we restarted, but I mean.
It's easy for them to get them now, though.
It's
a little easier for them to get them now, yeah.
But they know about that already. They know.
But habits are hard to. I would say, like his managerial style is very much so the same. Pep is very consistent. But it's hard to change.
I agree, but then if you're asking the players to do something, Rodri is calm and all that, and he had a moment and he got sent out, and he was wrong for it. But that's what happened. But if you can't come at Rodri and be critical of him, and then you're in the stands because you got a yellow card for something silly. And now the thing about it is that third yellow card, okay, maybe that one was worthy, but what about the other two? Were those other two worthy? Because that now we're looking at the body of what you've done. And so those who have criticized them, they can have a point there. Now, what I've seen with some City fans is, they're like, it's the end of the world. And I'm just like, dude, I mean, first of all, we're not even through the first third of the season, right? Like we're barely there. And so then, the fixtures are there. We got games along the way. First, I don't know about you all, but I never expected City to win all their games. Invincible only happened once. And is a reason it's only happened once.
It's way hard. It's way harder than people think it is. Yeah. It's so much more difficult than people think it is, and that's why Arsenal fans are forever like, "Oh my God, we're the only team ever," because it's that difficult,
dude. But it doesn't happen anywhere. Like, for example, you got in football, soccer, Arsenal did it, right? In the NFL, only one team. One team has ever done it ever. I'm like, yo, it's impossible to win all the games, so you have to expect that either a team will play better than you on the day, or you will play bad, or both.
Well, that you have to change, like with the Premier League and the way this is all structured with the international and domestic cups. You got to focus on one. Like, look at the invincible season that Arsenal had in the league, and then look at their cup performances during the same season. It's the focus has to be, and I don't think that's City's. The City wants to compete heavily they want to probably repeat their Champions League. They want to repeat their title for the Prem. If they do both of those, it's a winning season. They don't care about hitting a treble or a quad. Now that they've obtained the big two, they want the champs. You can tell.
I think honestly, City will be happy with retaining Champions League.
Yes, 100%.
If that's all you win this season, City will be very happy.
City changed their focus. You saw it. You saw it switch. City changed their focus. Yes, they will win the league. They will dominate this league if you let them. Catch me if you can. The focus is on I swear the focus has been moved to Champions League. Remember the Chelsea early 2000s Chelsea, where we know we can win the league. We did it. I want Champions League, and they got it, and now they want it again.
But it's Pep, but it's still Pep, and Pep wants to win it all.
Of course. But the thing about it is,
I don't know that Newcastle game. Sorry,
But see, that one's different. That one's different. Like, they don't mind losing that one because there's the fixture congestion. They've just freed themselves up.
that's true.
Look. At the end of the day, say what you want about prestige and about, oh, it's another cup. Look, this is a business. At the end of the day, the Carabao Cup is not worth a tenth of a Champions League place.
Right. Especially if you go to a semi.
Winning the Carabao Cup is not as much money as one game in the Champions League.
yeah, that's true.
To win the whole tournament does not net you in the same amount of money as winning as one Champions League game. And so when people are like, "Oh, nobody cares about this cup," there's a reason no one cares about this cup, is because it's not worth anything. And so City don't care at all about that, but they care about the rest of them.
But here's the thing that matters is that we got injuries that are stacking up in specific areas, and some of the guys are coming back. But here's the first thing, and we've talked about this. If you lose, doesn't matter if you played like you didn't care. The moment you lose, you have shown someone where your weaknesses are, which means the next team can come in and get you. So you don't want to lose at all. So even though they lost the game to Newcastle, if they had lost to I don't know, some lesser team, then it wouldn't have mattered in the same level. So say, for example, it was switched and they lost the cup game to Wolves. Then people will be like, whatever, it's Wolves. But then they lose to Newcastle. That changes the whole momentum of the league. And so you have to understand that the thing about it is no one wants to lose, and it's the manner you lose, because that matters. And because Jake, you mentioned that last year, like the manner that you lose the game influences that. And for example, that the midfield that we had together had never played together in that game. They had never played together in a game before. And the front line was moving around, but they didn't have the regular guys, right? And then the back line was shifted around too. So there was literally no cohesion because you have the final third and the first third, and there's no glue sticking it together. And it's a point that I think X has made before. I think you've made it as well, Jake, about just the importance of Odegaard or Enzo or whoever, where this person is connecting you. And if there's no one there, it doesn't matter what those guys on the other ends do. It doesn't matter at all, because the City style is not to kick it over the top and run under it. So they're never going to do that. So that means that you're going to make people, you're going to try to play your way. And once the opponent sees, you can't play your way.
So would you say, so that being said, we've hit on the two biggest points. Who's bigger, not having Rodri or Pep being in the stands in this particular game?
For this game, I would say Rodri not being there is bigger.
Yeah.
Because Rodri would have fixed it. I mean, they were in the game. I mean, it wasn't like, Wolves destroyed them. They were in the game. I mean, Alvarez had a sick free kick, right? So
dirty.
It was dirty. I mean, they were in it. Once they made those substitutions, if you had Rodri there to protect those guys and play the balls, because he plays those balls, they're in the game. Because Pep still was present, so his presence was there. But see, the thing is, you can't have both of those happen. Either Pep has to be on the sideline, or Rodri needs to be on the field. You can't be missing both. So I mean, and we're not talking about the weekend, but Pep will obviously be back on the sideline. And I think that will matter. Now, I don't know how much effect that will have on the results, but we talk about the fodder and what do they have to go to be motivated. They have a checklist now of stuff they need to be motivated.
Yeah, fair enough. You do have a game in between, and Rodri will be there for that game. Yeah. Do you think he even plays versus Leipzig? I mean, probably.
Absolutely. And the reason he plays is because he can't miss that many consecutive games without losing form. So he needs to play because he has to stay in shape. Because if you miss 3 weeks, that's almost, I mean, it doesn't matter how much you train. It's no different than having an injury.
Yeah.
So he has to play. So he'll start the game. And I think what will happen for that is I think they'll try to figure out how guys can kind of replicate or protect in that sense. Because, the thing, like, is he put Phillips on, right? And that was the only time that he really kind of seemed a little stable. I mean, he doesn't produce like him going forward, but at least there was a degree of stability there when Phillips was on there. But I mean, even him, Phillips is still catching blame for stuff. And I'm like, there's nothing he can do to win the fans. The fans already don't like him. And then you have the goofy rumors, which I don't know where they are because this came from transfer rumors. There's no way Arsenal goes for him.
Not a chance.
That would be the stupidest thing.
That would be the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. There's no way.
But
There's absolutely no way.
I live in a world where I've literally watched, and we'll talk about, we've watched incompetence on every level in games by officials. So it's possible. There's like a 1% chance that it could happen, but I would be completely baffled that it happens.
Yeah.
So I feel like they tried to like combine Kova and Nunez to kind of do what Rodri was doing. And it just
Kova's not that guy.
Exactly.
Kova's not that guy.
He's just really not.
And he's not that guy.
I mean, he has his qualities, and I think that he is a good player, but he needs Rodri beside him. Or even an inverted Johnny Stones. Like he needs somebody in there with him to be the most effective. And Calvin Phillips is not coming to Arsenal. I'll be upset. I'll be so upset because he just doesn't cut it, And so which is going to be really interesting. And obviously we'll do the preview on Thursday as to how they're going to line up and what they're going to try. But based on that, if you bring that to the Emirates, we might actually have a shot.
Yeah,
we might actually have a shot. So looking ahead to Wednesday, feels like it's in Germany. Y'all drew there 1-1 and then smashed them at home in the round of 16 last season. Very familiar with Leipzig. I don't think it's going to be a similar game. I think y'all are just going to come for it.
They have to. And the reason they have to do that is because your momentum is gone. Like every bit of momentum you had is gone. You had a game you didn't score in, and then you had another game where you just played poorly. So the first thing they're going to do is I think they're going to try to get goals, right? I think I picked 3-0 in this for the Wolves game. I mean, it was 3 goals scored, so I guess I was right on that part. But the line was wrong, and I missed that by a mile. But
everyone did, bro. If I could go back and put in a bet.
Yeah, we all missed that one hilariously.
$500 on Wolves to beat City, you'd be sitting pretty today.
I'm sure somebody won something.
Oh, I'm sure pretty.
Yeah, some Wolves fan that could never bet against themselves. Yeah.
But I think Vardiol gets a chance to play in this one, because Ake, like in the last game, Ake didn't play that well either, and so I think Vardiol starts this one, and I don't know what he's gonna do in the midfield, man. I really don't. I don't have any idea.
Well, Rodri will play, so you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He's not banned for this one. But
yeah.
As for me, I'm hoping and praying that y'all absolutely crush Leipzig, because it's rare to see City lose. It's crazy rare for City to lose 2 games in a row. It's unheard of for y'all to lose 3 games in a row. I've never, ever seen you lose 4 games in a row. So if Leipzig pulls off a miracle and then y'all come to the Emirates off the back of 3 losses,
a draw wouldn't be any good either.
No.
The draw wouldn't be good either.
No. Yeah. So I'm praying, begging that City absolutely wipe the floor. So there's no chance of this. Oh, we never lose 4 in a row. We're not losing 4 in a row. We're going to come win 10-0. Forget that. We're not doing that. So yeah, let's.
So you're rooting for City in this one then?
Honorary City fan on Wednesday. Just for that one. Just for that one. It's the Champions League, man. And I'm not going to cheer against you until the knockout stages in the Champions League, because y'all should wipe the floor with that group anyway. So there's no point in me. There's no point in me betting against you.
No.
Yeah, not at all. But yeah.
I wanted City to get Newcastle's group.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't have cared.
it wouldn't matter. It
That
wouldn't
would-
matter.
It would have been nice.
It wouldn't matter.
It would've been
matter.
nice.
But Newcastle are going to do just fine, actually. Which we'll get to that in a bit, though. But
I think so. I think so.
yeah, just the way it's shaping up. This is the way it's shaping up. But yeah, Wolves defeat Man City 2-1. Got to give credit to Wolves.
Sure.
I mean,
I don't think Wolves have scored 2 goals all season, have they?
yeah, I think they. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Interesting note that we forgot to mention is Hee-chan Hwang. I forget how to say his name. Hwang is the Korean guy. Hwang is his last name.
Korean guy.
He elbows Dude Man in the face right before he scores the goal.
Dude, he should have had a second yellow. But whatever. They won. That's all. The result is the result.
Tell that to Liverpool.
Fair enough. Exactly. Segues are weird. Segues are really, really weird. Liverpool have been absolute and utterly highway robbery. Straight up abject corruption is what this feels like. Liverpool obviously feel like that. They're suing the PGMOL, citing the integrity of the game was not upheld. There's so much to unpack in this one. Firstly, yeah, I mean the very first incident was the biggest one. How? Okay, so here's what I've heard. Here's what I've surmised from what I've seen on Instagram, Twitter, BBC News, various outlets, is that the guy in Stockley Park, Darren England, thought that the on-field decision was a goal.
Okay.
And so the onside is so clear,
which is why he said what he said,
that he doesn't draw the lines. It's so clearly onside,
yes,
that they didn't even draw the lines. And he's thought in his head, they've given a goal on the field. Check complete.
Right.
And so here's my thing. The referee on the field hears check complete. Okay, take the throw in or whatever it was. Why? Yeah, the 3 kick. Why have the 4 dudes or the 3 dudes in the booth in Stockley Park not been like, whoa, stop, hold up, stop. Okay, yes, the rule clearly says once it's, the only thing you can pull it back for is like if you've given the card to the wrong person or whatever. You can't pull it back once the game starts. But let's use some common sense here. You can stop the ball or you can stop the game after 12 seconds.
Yeah. But they also could see he was giving him a free kick.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
The game hadn't started back yet. Yeah.
They should have said something.
Right.
The fact that they didn't say something is why I think they all should be fired. All of them.
Because but here's the thing, man, that I don't get. So, because again, yes, he was so clearly onside. I mean, he could have laid flat on the ground and still
been onside.
It wouldn't have mattered. But the thing that kills me, and that I can't think of a time where I have supported Poole in any way, way. And so for this, it's crazy because after that happened, because they didn't put the flag up for offsides either because he let him play through.
Right. Until the goal, yeah.
Right. So you got 2 things that never indicate offsides.
Well, that's just the difference of the game. That's where the game should not have changed. And that's how I always stand by that.
Where did the official get offsides from though?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's not the conversation. You can't go back. Yeah, I get it. You don't love VAR, but we can't go back.
Right. If he thinks it's offsides, throw the flag. This whole play him through is the issue here.
But that's what you're supposed to.
It's not though. It's not. That's not the issue. The issue is this whole Mike Dean crap about, it's my mate down there and I don't want him to look bad and we don't want to, mess with, we want to stick together. We're this, tight-knit group. Look, man, the whole point of VAR is to get it right. This isn't a subjective thing. You can't claim human error. This is not a subjective thing. He's either on or he's off.
Right.
A or B.
Right.
And to the fact that you've mixed it up in such a simple way, it's unforgivable anywhere else. Anywhere else in like the corporate world, in like if you had a job working at the lawyer's office, or if you were you're in real estate, right? X. If
someone's losing their house.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And you're fired. And you're never working for that company again.
I'm gonna lose my license, right?
You're never even doing real estate again for anyone.
I meant the check wasn't cleared. What do you mean?
What do you
it's
mean?
One or the other. It's not both.
You have the money or not, right? It's not.
Just tell them. Just tell them. Look, man, you've got it wrong. It's a goal.
Yep.
But
literally 8 seconds. Literally 8 seconds have gone by.
His watch should have been buzzing.
It should be like, look, yo, it's a goal. Whoa. What are you doing? Stop. And you know what? If they'd have done that, yes, it would have been a little bit of like, oh, they've already played up and you can't do that. But it'd be far better than what's going on right now.
Right.
And it would have been right.
It would be far better than what's happening right now.
You could complain and say, they shouldn't have did that, blah, blah, blah. But it was correct. Like, you can't go back and say, hey, you did the right thing and you're wrong for that. What? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's impossible. So, like, I saw on ESPN, FC or whatever, where it's like, look, man, even with the rules of whatever, you still got to stop them. Who cares, man? You still got to stop. Like, literally, you took a goals for, and it's soccer. How many goals get scored in a game? In a game like that?
Use your common sense, man. When a goal like this,
it changes the game. Yeah,
exactly. If you don't think
it changes an entire game.
Look, if you were watching that game, Liverpool were far better at that point in the game. They were on top, and they score that goal and go up. They don't look back. And you can say, oh, you don't know that. You don't know that. Blah 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 blah. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yeah, come on. Okay, you want to know my point? You want to know why my point is right? Because they were the better team even with 10 guys. Hell, they were the better team with 9 guys.
Well, dude. They were
a better team with 9 guys. So if you think that they would not have seen that result out, you're crazy.
In addition to that, the game-winning goal. Just there's no way. I can't. I'm struggling to think of a day where I've rooted for Liverpool, but I'm telling you right now, Liverpool should have won the game.
Liverpool deserved to win, not just a draw. They deserved to win that game.
Won that game.
Now,
and this is too. Like we've talked about talking about 9 and 10 guys. We've talked about this before. How unlucky is it that my man beats my man to the ball, but goes over the top of the ball and hits the other player?
Yeah, now see, this one is different. That's wholly different. It's not an offsides. It's kind of subjective, right? It's kind of a subjective one. And personally,
I don't think it's he beat him to the ball.
But he endangers the opponent. It's a violent tackle that endangers his opponent. Dude's leg could have broke.
Oh yeah, no, but that's honestly, there's some risks you take playing this game, but going over the top of the ball is so.
But what's crazy?
Unlucky. Like
I agree. It's very unlucky, and I thought it was a little bit harsh when I first saw it. But also, I can say that okay, yeah, he almost broke guy's leg. Cody Gakpo's leg is broken. Broken. He's out for a month and a half at least.
No way.
And Udogie didn't even get a yellow. I mean, it's just all absolutely all over the place. Now, the other red card is a farce. The second red is an absolute farce because Udogie has conned the referee for the first one, the first yellow. It's an absolute cheat. It's an absolute con. He's tripped over himself and fallen down, and they've given man a yellow. Now, 28 seconds later, yeah, It's an orange card. That's a surefire yellow for the second one.
He made
but
it
once again, can the referees not just use a little bit of common sense? Look, man, I've just had to give you a yellow on some BS not 12 seconds ago. And now you're doing this. Could he not just be like, look, calm down, man. This whole minute and a half segment of yours deserves a yellow at least.
Yep.
I don't think you deserve a red. I don't need to destroy this game more than I already have. So let's have a little, and you can't tell me that they're not making decisions like this because Mike Dean come out and said this is how they're making decisions anyway.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be making decisions to save your mate, why don't you have that same kind of common sense thinking for the game itself? Well, it just makes no sense to be. It's a total double standard. It's a huge double standard.
That's where I was going. Yep.
But I just feel that what else does Liverpool have to do? Never before. I've come on here and I've been like, oh, there's an agenda against Arsenal and we were cheated today. But in my heart of hearts, I knew that, okay, we didn't do enough. Liverpool,
they were cheated.
Were cheated. Straight up. And I mean, good grief. It doesn't get clearer than that. And
the thing is people complain about Klopp complaining, but hey, man, I'm standing behind him on this one.
He's got every right to. And what I think the conclusion is that now I heard that it was the clubs and not the referees that didn't want the World Cup offside decision semi-automatic technology. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that the clubs themselves, like 9 of them, or like 11 of them, just enough, didn't want it so that it wouldn't. And so that's why we don't have that decision system in place this season. But go back and watch the World Cup. It worked perfectly, almost.
Yes.
So what? And so I think that this might be the push. This might be the push for that. We might.
The end. Yeah, that's done, man.
See that? No, I'm saying we might see that next season. No,
that's what I mean, because this whole I don't want to do my because then there was a thing where they now almost, which just seems silly, that it says now it makes sense for the officials to have a guideline where if you say check is complete, and then you have to say what else, because otherwise the official just making up stuff, man.
Yeah.
That was why I asked the question. I'm like, so there was no offsides flag, and he called offsides, like he had to call it himself.
Yeah,
because no one else called it.
Yeah, I don't know. But as far as the game itself, I thought that the outlet through Mo Salah when they were down to 10 was on all day long.
Yep.
Spurs are pushing, and they were getting their fullbacks forward, Udogie and Pedro Porro, and there was a ton of space in behind them. Mm-hmm. And Liverpool, especially down to 10, they're more than happy to just be like, all right, look, well, we're not even going to play in the midfield, whatever. And just they love that long diagonal. They love it. And so they were just hitting that all day long, and they found some joy. There was a moment there that I thought they were even like when they scored and tied it up, I was like, these guys might go on. These guys might push on. That's how much better I thought Liverpool were. I'm not saying Spurs were bad.
Right.
They weren't at their best. They and by the standard they've set this season, they were poor. Far better than they were last season. They would have been smashed last season.
Yep.
But so credit Spurs for sure for hanging in there and they definitely poured on the pressure at the end, as you would expect versus 9 guys. Yeah, it's difficult to play against a block where they're literally not going to attack at all because they're down 2 guys. But still,
that's how honestly, that last goal though is how you score in those situations. You send it hard, you send it low, you come into the outside.
But I feel like
it's so unlucky. They just
Yeah.
got so unlucky in multiple occasions here. Oh man, I feel so bad for them.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm all the first to tell you that I do not like Liverpool even a little bit.
I dislike Spurs more though, so I feel bad for
I hate Spurs.
So
I can't stand. Yeah, if this was the other way around and Spurs had gotten cheated like this,
I'd be clapping. Yeah. I'd be fine with it. I'd be fine with it. I'll say it.
Shortest segment ever.
I'll be fine with it.
You would have had a segment of like, Spurs lost. Who won? All right, and segues are weird.
Spurs might have been a little bit unlucky, but they deserve it. Let's move on. They deserve that crap. Let's move on. No, man, I definitely think that moving forward, Liverpool they're a worry.
Yeah,
I'm worried about them. They're good. They're a good side, and they're gonna. I definitely think they'll be far better than they were last season. They'll challenge at the top. I think my prediction of third. I'll be happy if they get third. You know what I mean?
They might get third.
No, I'm saying I'll be happy if that's all they get. Is what I'm saying because I think they have the potential to be better. To be even better than that. But
I'll put this out there: the return fixture at Anfield, they might murder Spurs, man.
They might murder them. It was getting bad. It's gonna be.
They're gonna destroy them when they go there.
It's gonna be You want to talk about unfinished business?
Issue the sword and shield right at the beginning. At the tunnel.
Man, Anfield is just you're gonna get batteries thrown at you and everything.
Bring the brass knuckles. Get some riot gear. Spurs are gonna come out and warm up in riot gear.
You have to.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that for sure.
It's a good thing they don't have flares in England anymore, because that would be hot.
You wouldn't be able to see the game. It's just the whole Spurs side of the field is just smoke. Looking like the San Siro. Oh my goodness gracious me. Yeah. Well, tough day for Liverpool and Liverpool fans, but Spurs roll on, get the 3 points, still undefeated. You hate to see it. You really do. But we'll move on to the other side of North London. Actually, they were down on the South Coast and at Bournemouth. Arsenal have decimated them, destroyed them. Bournemouth didn't really offer much, but they also didn't sit back and they don't do that. They're not a low block team, low block FC, thankfully. And it's about as perfect of a day for Arsenal as you could ask for. I thought we controlled the game. We gave them their, they kind of had right at the beginning, had some good possession, put some good stuff together, but we didn't really give them much in the box. Didn't really get any shots off, and we kind of weathered it a little bit. And then from then on out, just absolute, utter control. I think that I've been saying it. I'm going to keep on saying it. And you're going to hear it again in the future because Declan Rice, dude, he's an absolute monster. People are talking about James Maddison signing the season. People are saying, Sabazalai for Liverpool has been really good. Great signing or whatever. Y'all are sleeping on Declan Rice, man. Because, he's immense. He's phenomenal. And you don't even he does such good work without even being the main man in the game. Mm-hmm. I love a center defensive midfielder. I love that because I feel like that's the cog in the team. Just look at City. You take Rodri out of their team and they're struggling.
Same thing with us. We went look at what happened as soon as we lost N'Golo Kante. Look at what happened to our entire squad once we lost N'Golo Kante.
Well, Jake, I think that's why he's underrated because the thing about it is that he just added more stability to a team that was top tier. So he's very unlikely to get the plaudits because of that. Yeah. And I mean, because people still would pick Saka and Odegaard as the guys, right? And so he's never gonna really get that, which he's probably fine with. He knows who he is and what he does. Whereas these other guys, they're gonna say that because they don't expect these things from them. And so because the expectations are so much lower, like if we're being honest, like we expected Declan Rice to do what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
We expected him to do that. So he's not going to get the credit for it.
To be
But that doesn't make it any less amazing.
No, I agree.
No,
I agree. He's good. Yeah.
Right.
So I empathize with you on that part. But at the same time, I'm like, you got what you paid for, though.
Yep.
Like, you literally got what you paid for.
You got what you paid for. 100%.
Absolutely. But if I'll say this about it. If you see him lifting the Premier League trophy at the end of the season, he will have been the main reason why. He has improved us into this new look where a lot of people are criticizing because we're not creating as many chances. Maybe we're not scoring as many goals. We're not looking as fluid, as dynamic, as, kind of explosive as we were at times last season. But that's 3 shutouts away from home. We shut out PSV. We've only given 2 goals once, and it was an 89th minute free kick. We have looked so solid defensively, especially away from home, and we've controlled games so much more. Think about the back and forth nature of some of our games last season. The 4-2 at Brighton, the 4-2 versus Villa, 3-2 over Brentford, 3-3 versus Southampton, 2-2 versus Liverpool, 2-2 versus West Ham. These back and forth kind of basketball matches. We don't play that. We don't do that anymore. That's not because we're not giving up chances. We're not giving you chance after chance after chance after chance after chance like we did last season. Because Declan Rice is stifling counters. He's stifling people on the counter. He's eating up all the second balls. When you can't win a second ball, you can't get out. You can't get any possession. You can't give your defense a breather. That's why Haaland gets 97 opportunities every game.
Yep.
Is because City and Rodri don't ever let you out. You can't ever get out. And so it's just possession. They get farther and farther and farther forward. And then they're just banging on the door, banging on the door, banging on the door. And that's kind of more of the approach of what Arsenal's trying to do this season. And I think Declan Rice is an absolute key cog in that wheel, in that machine, in us trying to do that.
And as much as Declan, and I think this is going to be the flip side of this coin for you guys. As much as Declan Rice has improved your squad, I think Kai Havertz brings that.
He scored though, man. He scored.
Yeah, come on. The penalty, the Jorginho penalty.
He
scored. The page out of my boy's book.
Look, I heard an interesting.
They had to give. Arteta was so excited that Havertz scored anything. That's
Arteta was probably not happy about that, to be honest with you.
$70 million penalty right there. That's all you get. He
scored.
Havertz was probably not. Arteta was probably not happy that they gave it to Havertz, to be honest with you. Happy that he scored, obviously, but probably not. Probably not excited that they did that, but it worked. So it's fine. But I heard an interesting point about Havertz that I kind of agree with, but I think that it's not enough. And it's the fact that with Havertz in there next to Declan Rice, we're like huge in there.
Yeah, they're big guys.
Odegaard's not big. Yeah, and he's not going to be doing that. Havertz, but Declan Rice, Declan Rice is a monster. Yeah, and Havertz is just big. We definitely have some size in there. And the coach of Bournemouth, Iriola, however you say it, was talking about how it's a battle in there. It's tough to, it's physical. It's tough to play against us in that midfield. And Kai is bringing a lot of the pressing. He's winning lots of duels, and he's doing the defensive work really, really well. Now, for me, great. Xhaka did the defensive work really, really well as well.
Yeah.
But we need more we just need more going forward. I'm not getting too hyped about this goal. I'm over the moon that he's gotten the goal. And I think that it was important. And even because it was 2-0.
You can tell the team is going to build his confidence.
No, immediately you could see in the next 5 minutes he looked more confident and sharper, like immediately. And I even said we were up 2-0, and when we won that second penalty, we're up 2-0, cruising. They hadn't even begun to offer anything. And so I literally said right before the penalty, right before they kicked it, I was like, give it to Havertz. Oh my God, he needs it. Give it to Havertz. And they ended up doing that, which was cool. And
I'd have gave it to Jesus, to be honest with you, though.
I mean, he don't need a goal like Havertz does.
It's true.
And I think that Havertz had a typical performance as far as what he does and what he has done. But I do think he's steadily improving. I think that he's gaining in confidence, and I think this goal will really help him. I personally don't think that this should be an issue.
Yeah.
You're $65 million man. You scored a Champions League final. You scored the game winner in a Champions League final. You've been in the Premier League for 4 seasons. What confidence are you lacking, dude?
Right.
Sometimes it's just
he's all in his head. He was all in his head towards the end of his stretch with us.
Well, I don't get it. I don't get it. But if it is what it is,
it begs the question that I was going to ask before, because I think this matters too. I think the team has played well, and Partey is missing. So what do you do when he comes back?
I would love exactly what we did against you in the Community Shield. We played Partey, Odegaard, Rice, and Havertz was up top. But Havertz hits the bench when Partey comes back. There's no way. There's no way.
He won't.
There's no chance.
He won't.
If Partey's in the 6 and Rice is in the 8, you're wrong. There's no way he's starting Havertz over
You're wrong. I'm telling you, man. He's built in. He's playing every game, man.
But he hasn't. Played every game. He hasn't started every game.
He's played.
Well, he just got a goal.
I mean, he'll play on Tuesday. He'll play tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But if he doesn't start versus City, I won't be even a little bit surprised.
Yeah,
I won't be surprised at all, because I don't think he should start. Partey's back in training. Yeah. Partey was training today. Yeah. We might see Partey tomorrow. And so don't be surprised if it's Partey, Rice, Odegaard.
I think your team would I think you look better that way, but
it very well could be Jesus on the left, Havertz down the middle, and Saka on the right. I would cry.
Martinelli?
I would cry. Martinelli's still on an injury.
It's Nketiah.
Okay. It's Nketiah, my bad. Yeah, it's Nketiah. I could see that, actually, because Nketiah does come in and go.
If Martinelli's still out,
yeah,
that would weaken us dramatically, because Trossard's back as well.
Oh, wow. Then, yeah.
So for me, like, Havertz doesn't displace anyone. You're not.
Not in your mind, sir.
Jesus
in that contract, though.
Jesus must be down the middle. Jesus has to be down the middle.
I agree with you there.
Has to be down the middle.
I agree.
And you're crazy if you're gonna try to tell me that Havertz is better than Partey or Rice.
Nope. Not in the midfield, and he's not better on the wing than Martinelli or Trossard or Saka.
No, it's the best team on the planet that we're facing on Sunday. You have to put your best players on there, especially when they're missing their best players.
Yep, you have to hit them when they're weak.
But we have a game before then, versus Lons, who
that should be a walk.
Yeah.
Well, only because of how poor they're doing this season, and the fact that they've sold a couple of their best players from last season. They were runners up in France. So it's not
last year.
It's not like they're just some slouch. They finished second.
Wait a minute. I know you're not trying to prop up any team in league as a quality team. I know that's not what we're doing right now.
Look, it's Champions League.
That's not what we're doing right now, though.
It's the Champions League, man. No, I still think
bad teams in the Champions League.
I still think we should win 4-0.
You should, yes.
Arsenal should smash them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, I'm just identifying our opponents. Most people don't really know who Lons is. I didn't know who Lons was before today. I had to do a little bit of research and find out and see who they were. That's how I know that they're in 14th right now in Liga. They've already lost like 5 games.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So we should destroy them. Of course.
Arsenal plays tomorrow, right?
We play tomorrow, and it's in France. But I don't think that'll be an issue.
A walk.
The reason I think that we might see like not a fully rotated team, but kind of like the same kind of team we saw in the League Cup.
I would
where it's like half the team.
I wouldn't do that. And the reason I wouldn't do that is
if y'all lose before you go to City.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't do that. I would play the team that smashed up the team. I'd play them again.
No, I'm with you. I hear you.
I'd play them and make all 5 subs. I would play that team, go up, make all 5 subs.
Sub everybody.
I tend to agree. I tend to agree, but when Arsenal were perennials under Arsene Wenger, sometimes, even in Champions League, we played some scrub squads. And Arteta is a product of that era.
Yeah. Arteta ain't Wenger. He needs to play his starters.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I definitely think we should play the starters.
You're going to punch them in the face.
I definitely think that if we win this game, it's a stranglehold on the group already, because that's an away match. And if we're sitting here saying, "Oh, we're about to wreck Lons away," what are we going to do to them at the Emirates? Come on.
Worse.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think, though, that there might be some rotation. It'll still be a strong team.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it, man.
I would rotate a few, but I would keep the core in the spine. 100%.
I would rotate anybody. I'd start the same group and I'd sub everybody.
I would do that, honestly. If I was the manager, if it was my team, like if I was the coach in this situation, that's what I'm doing, Lewis. I am playing my 11 and I'm subbing all 5 once we go up. Because Arsenal, they're good for a goal early. So, go up early. We'll play it easy Sunday.
You get up 2-0, and then at the half, hey, we appreciate you.
Everybody gets a
We'll definitely. Well, Eddie will start. Havertz will start. You might see Trossard. Jesus might actually sit. Trossard might start in his place. Or Jesus might be gone out to the right, and Saka might get a rest, even though Saka was back in training today as well, according to Instagram. So, because I have just I have the most solid sources of all time. Instagram,
Instagram and Twitter, yeah.
And Twitter, yeah. Actually, TikTok is my most reliable source.
Yeah,
I like TikTok.
Yeah, I don't mind it. But yeah, so we might see some rotation, but I think we should definitely take care of Lons. Hopefully, I don't think there will be a bit of, we might have our eye on City and we might stumble here. I don't think it's going to be any of that at all. I think we're going to smash them. And it was a great win at Bournemouth. Pretty much a perfect day. Even Benny White got on the score sheet off a free kick in the end, so that was cool. Great to see. And we move on. And man, I'm happy right now. Everything's looking good. Our biggest issue is just the one position. And even I don't have an agenda against Havertz, but I'm still skeptical. I had an Instagram conversation with an Arsenal supporter about him, and my conclusion was that I'm still a bit skeptical on whether or not he's gonna score a brace on Sunday, and we get to see Arteta smiling smugly at everybody with that "I told you so." I'm begging for it. I'm baying for it.
I told you so. Will be pointing at you too, Jake.
Hey, I'll be the first to say it. I'll be the first to eat my words. I'm not one of these fans who are writing him off like City fans are writing Calvin Phillips off. I am praying to the gods of football that Havertz drops 3 goals on City and Arteta's just smiling there going, told you so. Told you. I told you. Like I'm praying for that to happen.
Or he
I'm
hits
just
the
skeptical.
Late, or he hits the late, or no, right before half. That's what it was. The right before half solo goal, and you can just ride out the game just like we did.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it, man.
The Lone Ranger goes and hits one, and then just
I really hope so. Yeah, but we'll discuss on at length on Thursday that one. But yeah, all in all, it's good to be an Arsenal fan these days, and I couldn't be more excited. All right. Speaking of excitement, where do we go next? Luton Town have beaten Everton at Goodison.
I don't understand anything in life.
You might be right, man. Everton might be going down.
What in the world?
I don't understand anything.
Everton finally gets some momentum. They beat Villa in the cup. They beat Brentford away last weekend. 2 3-1s to celebrate. They've scored 6 goals.
Huge.
And then Luton beat them at home.
Huge.
Oh my God.
Dude.
I couldn't believe it. I actually had the privilege to watch every single game this weekend. So I've seen the full 90 on every game. And this one was shocking. I couldn't believe it. Man, Luton, they put the ball down, they played. Yeah, I don't know why Everton are so bad.
Why are they so bad?
I couldn't. I mean,
they got rid of their workhorses, man.
DCL even scored. DCL even scored in this one. Like he did his job. He did his thing. But Decore and Onana, man, I think Everton's biggest issue, and this is shocking to me. It's shocking to me, but they're relying on Decore to be like their creative midfielder, like their center attacking kind of creative player. He played the 6 all last season. He goes and he scores the goal that saves them and keeps them up. Oh no, it was the Brighton game where he was getting on the counters and they score 5 goals and all of a sudden he's the greatest center attacking midfielder since Mesut Ozil. It's baffling that that's what they're trying to do. But I guess, yeah, like you said, X, if they sell Alex Iwobi, they sell off Damari Gray, they don't. Their best midfielder is Dwight McNeil, and he's been being deployed as a winger. It's rough, man. And put some respect on Luton's name because everybody's going around saying this will be the worst Premier League team of all time.
They're competing with Everton.
And they're tied on points with Everton after this win. Carlton Morris with a great goal to win the game. Yeah, man. The first goal was a bit lucky, scrappy, we'll say. But hey, man, he's gonna do Ayer, I believe is that dude's name. He'll take that all day long. And Luton get the first win in the Premier League in their history. Massive day. But Sean Dyche, trouble, buddy. It's how many El Sacacos is this guy gonna be a part of?
He's not. He doesn't have the Roberto Martinez, Brendan Rodgers, Teflon Don going on.
No,
I don't think they're gonna give him that.
That axe is coming quick, especially if they get taken over by that American company. I feel like they might just clean house because it's bad news. It's bad news. They're really bad. And that was at home too, man. That was at home. Like you might have had some leeway if it was at the Kenny, but yeah, it's not great. But hey, man, congrats to Luton out of the relegation zone. No longer in the bottom 3 on 4 points, and got to give it to Rob Edwards, man. He knew that Everton probably wouldn't be sitting back as much as usual, and they didn't. And he took full advantage of the space. They were able to utilize the wings, and took full advantage of the space that Everton gave him, and just some atrocious defending. And even if it's Luton, still the Premier League, you get punished. And Luton Town moving on to tomorrow. This is actually a great spot to interject. Luton are doing the replay of their very first home game that was canceled because the stadium wasn't ready versus Burnley tomorrow.
You already know my pick for this one.
And we're going to get some predictions in. But first, let's take a look at the table. There it is, tied up at the top. Pretty heated stuff. Neck and neck. And long way to go, though. Hopefully I can outlast Patrick there up at the top. We'll just have to see. So, Luton Town, Burnley. I've gone with a 1-1.
A random question that connected to that. Is there a tiebreaker that you have for that?
For what?
If you say you or whoever is tied with another person for the top, is there a tiebreaker?
Predict the Champions League since it continues after that's what I would propose. But if you have a better one.
Did we not set out rules last season?
I felt like there was, but I
felt like there was a tiebreaker rule.
Yeah, I think there was, but I can't remember what it was.
Did we flip a coin? Is that easy?
No.
Did we?
Here it is. I've got it. No, you know what? Well, it won't let me. There it is. Okay, that's not gonna work. It says draw at the end of the season goes to PKs. What? How is that helpful? That's not helpful at all.
What?
Yeah, I think we were literally going to take PKs against each other. Like we were going to get together and have a penalty shootout. That doesn't sound right. We'll have to, we'll just do some other cup predictions or whatever.
I would say predict the
just see if we can pick the Champions League final.
The Champions League, but what if you pick the same team? Because you can't
rock,
force
paper, Rochambeau, baby.
We're gonna have a live on the channel rock paper scissors battle royale.
Gotta do something.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it's gonna be.
Or we could break it down even further. Not to get off topic, we break it down like the table does, where it's who got the most right for goals per team. Like you can break it down into how the points.
Who had the most correct scores?
Who had the most correct versus?
Yeah, that's easy enough.
Like we could break it down like the table does, like goal difference and
who hit the most threes.
You use the props, right? Because didn't we have like props?
Well, yeah, the props are in, but I was assuming you were saying that even if we're tied after that as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I was just looking and I'm like, what if these guys are tied at the end?
Yeah. Whoever got the most right, like that's
I think whoever hits the most threes will
Fair enough.
That sounds fair. Yeah.
And if it's still tied, we'll burn that bridge. When we're
taking PKs.
Then we're taking penalty kicks.
That's live.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's definitely going to be a live broadcast of the penalty kick shootout. Yeah, definitely.
But I got Burnley punching him in the face. 3-1.
3-1 to Burnley.
Right.
Patrick and I have both said 1-1 draws.
I'll go 0-0 on that.
This is at the Kenny. It's not at Turf Moor. It's at Kenilworth.
Snoo Fest.
They'll have 13 people in the stands. They're getting
0-0.
Oh my God. It's not going to be 0-0. It won't be that boring.
No.
Well, I don't know when I'm going to get to watch this game because it's Champions League tomorrow. I don't know what the schedulers are doing. Well, the schedulers didn't schedule this, so it's actually not on the schedulers. But I'll be watching Champions League tomorrow. But it should be an interesting one. I'll probably watch it, unless it is 0-0 like Xavier predicts. Then I'll probably just forego and catch the highlights. But speaking of some highlights, Aston Villa have absolutely smashed Brighton.
Brighton falling off.
I'm so confused.
6-1.
I'm so confused.
I mean, did y'all see the highlights? You see the game?
I watched the highlights, but then I remember what I said last week where I said, hey, De Zerbi might not be Emery. And that was my rat, because I think I did pick Villa to beat them. Did I?
Let's see what you picked here. You picked a Villa victory. You sure did. Yes, you did.
No, I didn't pick the scoreline. I know I didn't get that right, but I did pick Villa to win.
This one was a tale of mistakes. We all know Brighton play risky type ball, and Aston Villa are playing a super high line this season. It was really evident against Chelsea. They were hugging the halfway line. And so they were in Brighton's face from the word go and causing all sorts of mistakes, all sorts of trouble. And once they scored that first one, they never looked back. Absolutely never looked back. Emery just had their number for everything that Brighton had to offer. Emery had their number. And that is correct. Michelle, it was Miss Michelle, right? It's definitely a mistake to make 6 mistakes. Yeah. But speaking of unsung heroes and, people that are never going to get any recognition, Douglas Luiz in this Aston Villa team is an absolute stalwart, man. He had an incredible game, and he deserved the goal. Okay, it was the 6th goal in the 94th minute, and no one cares. But he deserved to be on the score sheet to at least get some recognition because he put in an absolute incredible shift. Won every second ball, was press resistant, was starting up the play, doing everything that you want that Rodri does, that Declan Rice does. Yeah. Up there with performing like some of the best in the league. And he won't get the recognition, but he's had himself an absolutely incredible game. Another one that probably won't get any recognition is John McGinn, whom I'll start out by saying I cannot stand him. I do not like him even at all because he likes to kick people. He's a very dirty player. Had himself a magnificent game. Dude, he was so good. He was everywhere in this game. Playing balls that you're like, I didn't even know you could pass like that. Like, what? I didn't even know you could do that. The man had himself hard to say that he's an MVP. He's the MVP of the match when Ollie Watkins has a hat trick. But, if not for that, it's John McGinn because this Villa blamed him, dude. Villa were just miles better on the day. It was confusing to see from Brighton, but Villa are the real deal, man.
No, yeah, Brighton just had no answer for that counter, man.
Oh, it was 3-0 before they knew what hit them.
Yeah.
Before they could even begin to formulate some sort of semblance of anything, they were down. It was over.
I hope this is the beginning for, again, I'm the opposite of Lewis. If you're above me on the table, I want you to do.
I want you to lose.
I want
horribly.
you to lose. I want you to lose horribly.
Yeah.
So yes, but I hope this is the start of Brighton's stumbling block. This is 2 big losses for them in a row.
But at the expense, but Villa is rising. It's
I'm okay with that though.
To take their place.
I'm okay with that because Villa doesn't have the $600 million.
What do you mean? You've already lost to Villa this season.
Villa doesn't have the $400 million Todd Boehly was throwing away last summer like he did for Brighton. So I'm more worried about what Brighton has in the bank than Villa does.
How can you be more worried about Brighton after Villa have just smashed them to pieces?
Because Villa 2 weeks ago absolutely got smashed into pieces. So it was
no, it wasn't 2 weeks ago. Villa lost the first game of the season, and that's it. That's it. They lost that huge game.
That was, yeah.
Versus Newcastle at the beginning of the season.
Why draws matter.
And I don't think they've lost again.
No, they lost to Everton in the cup. That's what it was.
Yeah, in the cup.
That's
they probably played the scrubs.
Yeah, they lost to Everton in the cup.
So Villa are definitely. I feel like they're going to finish higher than I had them finishing in our props. That's for sure. Because this one, dude, they were awesome. It was fun to watch. It was great to watch. And yeah, another team to definitely be worried about moving forward. If they have a mind, they'll smash everyone in the Conference League. They'll smash absolutely everyone.
Yeah, they'll pull a West Ham. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for
Just
sure.
run the Conference League.
Mm-hmm. Plus, Unai's got all that experience. I think now that he's in his first full season together, that they're going to cause lots of people lots of problems. And they definitely had that on display at the weekend. All right, let's see. What else do we got here? Old Trafford. Boos ringing out loudly. This was...
Is that the legacy that ends?
I guess, man. This was bad. This was...
After they beat them. They just beat the same team.
Well, here's what it is. I think it's X. You were saying City were doing this. They were kind of playing coy so that they could get our hopes up and come back and destroy us. I think that's what Roy did here. Absolutely plays the scrubs, plays the nobodies. Eze came on in like the 70th minute on Tuesday. Doesn't play anybody in the League Cup. Takes a 3-0. Doesn't even. He's probably sent them out there as like, look, y'all go have fun.
Go have a day. Have a day.
Have a day at Old Trafford, whatever, because we're not worried about this game even at all. And then they brought it. This was a scrappy kind of like you just didn't expect to see that from Palace. This is a Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa kind of performance from Crystal Palace, man. They were, and Ten Hag has to take some flack, some pressure.
He won't take any credit for the loss.
But I thought it was Jadon Sancho's fault.
It's Jadon Sancho's fault, yeah.
Why is Amrabat at left back?
Because Jadon Sancho...
Shaw's hurt, isn't it? Like all his defense is like still on the bench or still in the armor. I
think the X is right. Hold on, let me look.
But Amrabat is a center defensive midfielder.
If Raheem Sterling can play left back,
just look at Arsenal. Just look at Arsenal, and when we tried to put a center DM in the right back, we were awful. It looks terrible. So I don't know what that was about. I guess the inversion, and he was inverting a lot, so I'll give you that. But I think that's a brand new thing for Amrabat. And when he did invert and was in a more comfortable spot in the middle, he looked decent, But by the end of this game, man, they just huffed and puffed and didn't really have an answer. They couldn't even come up with anything. They didn't really look like they knew what they could do to break it down. They just didn't look, you know what I mean? They looked like they didn't have any ideas. Bruno was kind of a ghost. I mean, it's a shambles. It's not good. This wasn't even this game was not fun to watch. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was boring, but the best part about it is just sitting there watching the salty tears.
Yeah.
For non-Man U fans, for everyone who doesn't think Man U is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
They invented sliced bread.
If you say so. Oh my goodness, man! This was bad news bears, and they yes, they have injuries as well, and I've even heard that Anthony is back in the team.
How?
Yeah, I mean, put that aside though. Because it's not even the point that he's apparently a woman beater or whatever it is he's accused of. Well, not accused because he was arrested for it in Brazil 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
But quite apart from that, what's he gonna add to the team?
Fancy footwork and spins.
He's not the answer. I don't think he's the answer. You know,
he's actually the embodiment of what United are doing. They're just
spinning in circles.
Spinning in circles.
You can see that last year Rashford papered over it.
Yep.
And now that he's gone missing here in the beginning of the season, what are they doing? Casemiro has also gone missing here at the beginning of the season. He's not been the greatest CDM that there ever was, like he was last season.
You lie.
You know, so it's rough, man. It's rough pumpkins for him. Yeah, I don't know what Ten Hag's got to do. But is he going to be? I mean, is he going to be the first?
He might be the first one on the app.
First one gone.
He might
be because legacies end in. I don't know. I don't have nothing else on that. That's
his new era is going to come to an end really quick.
Something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, man. It's like when the Brighton fans were singing to the Man U fans, "Can we play you every week?" Man, you were just so easy to play against now.
Yep.
You know what they're going to try.
You know what they're going to try. You know what they're good at and they're not going to do.
Yeah, and you know what they're not good at. And so that's just and then when they get down, that's the thing you mentioned about, your team. Chelsea is young, and when they go down a goal, they don't really have anyone to kind of pick them up by their bootstraps and tell them, hey, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna get this over the line. We're gonna be able to come back. There's no one in the Man U team doing that either.
Nope.
Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, I love that he's the captain, man.
Yeah, because he's exhibited time and again that he does not have the character to drag a team from a negative position, from a bad spot, from a sticky day where things are just not going right. There's no one doing that. Good that they have Rafael Varane back.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's big. But now Lissandro's out for like a month and a half now. So yes, injuries are plaguing them, but they've just got so many issues.
Yep.
And no one is scoring goals. Højlund, I like Højlund, honestly. Objectively, I think he's a good forward, good target man. And I think given time, he'll be decent in the league. But they're immediately asking him, bro, we need 30 from you.
Yep.
We need you to be the guy, like right now. And he's not going to be able to just come good like that. And so credit Palace, man. Credit old Roy, 76 years old, still kicking, still beating Man U at Old Trafford. I mean, wow. What an accomplishment that is. I think to have this Palace team who didn't show up to the League Cup game turn back around and to get this victory, that's huge. Massive. We all went for United wins, despite how bad they are. Actually, Patrick went for a draw. But even how bad they are, no one expected this one. No one expected this one, though. But you love to see it. You really do. As long as you're not red from Manchester. Pretty much everyone else is like, yeah.
Oh, the whole world. Yeah. Anyone
I don't mind it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. Yeah, well, Man U in the mud. Only way is up. They got a lot of work to do. Crystal Palace, looking good. And, up next, Newcastle have defeated Burnley 2-0. I do believe this was at St. James. This one kind of went how you would expect.
Basically.
Newcastle kind of said, okay, Burnley, you show us what you got. Do what you're going to do. We'll soak it up, and we're going to smash you on the break. And Miggy Almiron, dude. The goal Miggy Almiron scored in this, dude, man's a beast. And I was thinking that of all the players to have come from MLS
Yeah.
to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just Americans, because Almiron is actually from Paraguay.
Right.
But of people who have played in the MLS and then gone to the Premier League, he might be the best one.
He's legit, man.
He might be the best one. I mean, Brian McBride, one of the greatest Americans to play the game, had a great career at Fulham. So he's up there as well. Clint Dempsey was in the league for a while, but I still think Almiron is a better all-around player than Dempsey was. And I got love for Landon, but he was kind of a bit never really got into the league. But Almiron is just lighting it up, man. He's love watching him play. Scores an absolute banger. Callum Wilson goes down again. That's not good for them. But Isak on the score sheet. I just think Burnley just couldn't really deal with the physicality that Newcastle bring. And I feel for Joel Linton was big in this game. Joel Linton had a good game. He had a great game in this one. I think he's another one of those unsung guys in the midfield. Again, I'm not his biggest fan because, give him a spear and a shield and he looks fit for battle immediately because that's what he does. He's just out there wrecking people.
Straight rugby, right?
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of that because he tried to injure everyone when Arsenal went up to St. James last season. So I'm not his biggest fan, but I thought he had a fantastic game. And Burnley weren't able to cope, and definitely showed on the field, shows in the scoreline. Thought it could have been more, but Newcastle didn't look like they were I guess they weren't feeling a 7-0 victory this time around. And
8-0 this time.
Right. Burnley were able to play some good stuff, but I feel for Vince Kompany, man. Is he in danger?
No.
No?
No.
I mean,
if they get relegated,
yet to win a game, they got 1 point.
They're winning one tomorrow.
They might be able to win.
It's big.
They'll win tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow's big.
Big game tomorrow. It's a big game.
Tomorrow's big for them, for sure. They won't. It won't be a game where they get punished a lot like they have been.
And you also have to look at the alternative. I mean, what kind of managers did they have before, right?
Yeah, who's gonna want to go to Burnley?
I think because obviously I picked them for 8th. I'm optimistic, right? I'm hopeful, but I see them making it past the relegation zone. So I think they stay up, but I think it's a transition for them because there's no way a team like that put up 100 points last year literally just falls off. Yes, the competition's different, but there's enough low, sort of bottom of the table teams that they can get points off. And I think that's where the focus will mostly be at going forward.
Yeah.
They have to win. If they don't win this next one, though, then you really do have to start asking questions, but they should win the next one.
They definitely got to win tomorrow. 2 things I want to mention. One is the guy who hasn't declared for USA yet, but he might. Koleosho on the wing for Burnley looks he looks good. He's young. He looks like he'd be a good talent. He definitely drives them forward, and he likes to get at players. It's one of those players that fans really enjoy. You really like to see him. He tends to put in a shift, and you just love to see guys running at the defender, taking him on. And the other thing I want to say is Vince gonna have to make some adjustments, make some tweaks that make them more defensively sound?
He might have to play.
That's what Burnley is missing. Kind of the theme of tonight's episode has been the center defensive midfielders. That's what Burnley need. They need somebody a real bruiser in there who can, stop up counters. Kind of stop when they're a little bit stretched. He can make the run over to the side and make that tackle that's going to, stop up the game. Or, the guy that's getting the professional foul to stop up the counterattack. They need somebody with that kind of mentality. Because I think that's Burnley's biggest weakness. They do try to play and they're fun to watch, but it can be rough when they're not at it. Especially in this league. But yeah, like you guys say, tomorrow is absolutely massive. Those are the kinds of games that Burnley needs to win, and hopefully they can go on and get their first win in the Premier League. Speaking of another promoted team that is struggling, West Ham have defeated Sheffield United 2-0 at the London Stadium. West Ham are another team who are just quietly going about it, and they look solid. They really do. Paqueta in there. Jarrett Bowen, man. He's another one of those guys who is unsung, I think. He's having himself a season. The goal he's got in this game is fantastic.
Sheffield actually might be going down.
I feel like, and I know maybe it's one win, it's recency bias for Luton, but Sheffield might be worse. They might be the worst team because I said in our preview that I thought that Sheffield without Ollie McBurney are just absolutely awful, and he makes them so much better. He was in this game. And I know that West Ham have looked good. They've been better, but this was a scrap. And Sheffield weren't really able to put anything together. They weren't winning many second balls. Aguerd and the center backs for West Ham were just eating up all the first balls. McBurney wasn't winning as much as he normally did, and then they couldn't win the second balls, and so West Ham just had him pinned for most of this game. I think James Ward-Prowse is also another signing that is up there for signing of the season. He's quietly
fit in very nicely over at West Ham, man.
Absolutely. He's quietly been fantastic over there and has added a lot to their team. Man, you just didn't expect it from West Ham. You just didn't expect them to come out.
David Moyes.
I guess so. Is he their greatest ever manager?
He's in competition for it.
He's got him a European trophy. And they've once again, they're kind of under the radar, but they've spent the Rice money really well. They brought in Kudus. Obviously they had James Ward-Prowse. They have done some shrewd business, and they're looking pretty sharp. It's going to be an interesting League Cup match. Arsenal have to go to the London Stadium for the League Cup game, so that's going to be interesting. And I'm not 100%, confident. West Ham are one of those teams that they're always going to defend well. They're big. They work. The work rate of the likes of Mikel Antonio just never ending. And so you gotta work hard the whole game to keep them at bay. And Sheffield were unable to do that. They're poor, man. It's I hate to say it, but Sheffield and sorry, but I gotta include Burnley in this. Sorry, Lewis, but these three promoted teams are not great. Some of the I mean, it's definitely from the results, some of the poorest we've seen come up.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because Burnley smashed the championship last season, triple digits, and they're on the struggle bus. But I think none more so than Sheffield.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's rough over there. And I don't think they've gotten any better than they were the last time they were in the league. It's a lot of the same guys, and so Paul Heckenbottom could be in trouble. He might be the first one. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do or who they're gonna attract.
Right.
If they did fire him, maybe call Big Sam Allardyce. The survival specialist. But
he's not that anymore because he didn't.
oh, get out of here! 4 games. If he hadn't come in talking all that trash,
He'd have been all right.
if he hadn't come in, we're gonna beat City and Newcastle back to back.
He drank his Kool-Aid, and then he lost survival specialist.
Yeah, fair enough.
You can't get drunk off your own Kool-Aid. I don't know if that's a saying, but I feel like somebody said that to me before.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, well, we'll go with it. Can't get drunk off your own Kool-Aid unless you're West Ham. They're definitely getting drunk off of their Kool-Aid this season. Killing it. And yeah, the only other game of the weekend was the Sunday offering. The only game on Sunday, Forest and Brentford play to a 1-1 draw at the City Ground. I learned something during this game, actually. For the longest time, I thought that Nottingham Forest was in London. That is not correct. Nottinghamshire is a place. It's its own place in England. It's about an hour. Yeah, it's about an hour west of Liverpool. So it's
Midlands.
Yeah, it's north of London. It's about an hour and a half north of London as well.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So I thought that was I thought for the longest time that Forest were in London, but they're not. That has nothing to do with anything, but it is
like
something.
35 teams in London, though.
Yeah, that is something that I discovered in this game. I thought that this was another battle, man. This was another kind of, Brentford weren't great in the beginning, but by the end of the game, I would say they were the better team. Definitely improved in the second half. Forest at home are really interesting. Really interesting. I thought that they could have done more in the beginning. Probably could have had another goal and might have seen this one out, but they didn't come back out in the second half. Maybe it was a couple tweaks from Thomas Frank, and they could have won.
Right.
But also Brentford could have won. I don't know if you heard Matty Turner's interview after this game, but Brentford should have had a penalty, and he should have been sent off by his own admission. I mean, they asked him about it, and he said, essentially what he said was, yeah, I got away with one. I got lucky. Because what was crazy about this one, and it's another one that VAR is just completely ignored. Completely. We don't need to get back on how crappy VAR is and how badly it's been employed. But Johan Wissa, if he goes down and makes a meal of this play, I think they look at it more. I think they give it more time because it's a clear penalty. And he stops a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity.
But you can't give no, you can now, right?
You can. Double jeopardy is not a thing anymore. You can give a red and a pin.
Yeah, and the keeper. Ooh,
it was it was a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna watch.
Wissa pops back up immediately and doesn't say a word. Doesn't yell at the referee. I mean, class. That's some class right there. We'll give that to him. But there's also the dark side of ambition.
Yeah.
Right. Where if you maybe roll around a bit, you might get a penalty and win the game.
That's why you hit. Yeah, I'm flying over there and pulling the Neymar, rolling 18 feet.
I mean, I'm not advocating. I'm not advocating for a dive. I was never one to take a dive. X, you played with me. I was never one. I always considered myself an honest player, but
not me. You hit me anytime I think it's wrong, I'm flying.
I'm just saying, in this instance, if you embellish a little bit, you probably get it.
I've seen worse given.
Yeah. There he is. What's up, Patrick? Made it here at the tail end of everything. We're discussing Matty Turner's tackle on Johan Wissa.
Yeah, he was lucky to not be sent off.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, this one was an interesting game. I think that Brentford are wobbling a little bit, in a little bit of trouble, and Forest might be a little disappointed to not win this game as well. So, despite all of that, I think it was pretty even. I feel like it was a pretty even game, fair result. And Forest are struggling a bit more than I expected as well. So
I'm gonna need them to send Andre Santos back.
yeah, because he's not playing.
He's not even playing.
He's not playing at all. Yeah,
We turned down other loan offers for him because Forrest was going to play him, and they're not playing him.
yeah. Well, yeah, there you have it. That is the roundup. But now that Patrick is back, we'll give you. You want to wax lyrical about the win today? We'll give you a couple of minutes. Go for it. What'd you think?
2 goals.
Go for it.
That was great. Scoring great. No question about that, because of course that leads to 3 points usually. But what I really was impressed with, and I've given him a lot of flack on these two, a lot of flack on this. Cuckoo looks great at right back. I mean, he really does. I don't know. I think one of the commentators said it's because he can hug the line better than he does on the left. Don't know. I don't know. Second, Conor Gallagher was absolutely fantastic today. Absolutely fantastic. He allowed that whole pivot, which I've been yelling for, of Caicedo and Enzo to do what they needed to do, because Enzo was not trying to push up too far. And he also was just aggressive on the ball. The press was fantastic. There was a lot of good to take away from today. You get 2 goals in 81 seconds, and you're like, what else happened during the game? I was reading some stuff on Twitter earlier after the game, and people were talking about, it fell off in the second half, and it did a little bit. I mean, you took off Murdryk, so of course you're not bombing down the left as much as we were with him in Broja, but I still really didn't think that Fulham was really in this much at all.
No,
I thought it was a pretty commanding performance.
Would you say they didn't show up, or that y'all played well enough to cause them such issues? Yeah.
both.
They hate you.
I
They
think we
hate you.
It's both.
Yeah, I think we played well. I think that they didn't show up early on for sure. I don't think they were expecting what we were going to throw at them, because I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I did call this one. I did. But
you did get this one spot on.
I did get this one spot on, but I thought it would have been a gradual growth of 2-0. Hey, we get one on a good play outside the box, to feed somebody, Broja, and then of course on like a corner or a free kick. But no, I was very satisfied with today. That is now 2 good results in a row. Everybody, I mean, Craven Cottage at night, I don't care what anybody says, Craven Cottage at night. That's a good result, and there's a lot of positive take from this. Hopefully nobody got injured too bad. I'm a little concerned about Murdryk coming off at halftime.
That was weird.
That was very weird. Caicedo was limping a little bit after that collision with William.
Yeah, but he's done that to himself.
Yeah. Nothing really was said after the match about that, so we'll see. But I think you started to see some of those flashes start to come together as one. And Colwell was fantastic. I still not a fan of him at left back.
He wasn't at left back though.
He was. He played
was.
left back.
No,
He might not have lined up at left back, and that man played left back.
He was playing left back.
Well, the team sheet lied then.
The team sheet does lie. Yeah.
The team sheet did lie. But yeah,
NBC's production, y'all need to get with it because that wasn't right.
Pochettino submits the team sheet as like just a basic form. I'm telling you, and then he hits the tactic button and it changes immediately.
It switches it all up.
No clue what anybody's playing.
But
that's it. Another thing I learned from this game was how close Fulham and Chelsea are. They kept, it's the West London Derby. I was like,
right.
Well, what are they? I didn't know that it was a Tottenham Arsenal kind of proximity.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
There's also Brentford that's 3 miles away.
Hit a baseball.
So, I mean, that whole West London
900 teams in London.
Yeah. So
y'all are crowded,
I
man.
came away very happy. I also got the shirt this weekend. So
Nice.
It doesn't have a sponsor on it, no?
No sponsor. Even though I think it looks good on our shirt. I gotta say, the shirt
I like the shirt sponsor.
Yeah,
but no, I do. I have the same thing. I have my jerseys coming with the no sponsor. It's just how often can you get a no sponsored kit? Like that's the only reason I did it.
I wear it like
you got a sponsor and you won games.
Hey, and now that we got a sponsor, we won a game. So
I know, right? Well, they were going to announce the sponsor before the Brighton game, but they couldn't. Mm-hmm. And then we wore the sponsor, for this game. Yeah. I mean, that's 2 in a row. That's all I'm saying.
I am happy with it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Because they've let me down so much lately that it was nice to see them actually play quite well. Not just in spurts, but complete game.
Pochettino, the young people whisperer.
The young
I heard. Whisperer. Okay, so Fulham is the oldest team in the league by average age. Chelsea put out 6 players 22 and under today in their starting lineup.
Dang.
Yeah, we were saying earlier that if Thiago Silva wasn't in the team, your average age would be 20.
23, 20.
Yeah. But we got the oldest player in the league, and then probably
the youngest ones. Yeah, absolutely.
and then one of the academy kids got a debut as a sub. So
yeah, nice.
Good day.
For sure, Jake. We gotta get Patrick's take on Liverpool, man. I just feel like that would be important to get his take on that because that was.
Yeah, what you think, Patrick?
I mean, I don't like Liverpool by any means.
Everyone caveats that way.
That we all said that. We all said that
by any means. And I struggle when I've seen Chelsea get the short end of the stick from officials that affected games, but that was ridiculous. That was beyond ridiculous. They were talking about it during the game today and talking about how VAR is talking totally differently now because of the communication was poor. I don't care. I mean, do your job. That's all it comes down to. Do your job. Either the main referee,
if something like that happened at your job, you would get fired, wouldn't you?
Yeah, most definitely. It would be gone. And it's just the PGMO needs to realize every week you're writing sorry we missed this one and it affected the game letter to some team.
Since VAR has been implemented, 15 apologies. 15 apologies. And they all haven't been some week 7 BS. Sheffield got relegated on one of these 2 seasons ago, if you recall. This is some serious money that's being shifted either side, either way. Imagine Liverpool lose the league by 1 point.
No, gosh. Yeah. Well, I also think or 2 points. If they lose by 2 points.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
They lose by a goal difference. Ooh. They lose by a goal in goal.
You guys are the most doomsday people ever. You came up with every scenario.
but no, I mean, I think this is actually an indictment on Spurs.
I agree. I agree with that as well.
We've been singing their praises. You go up 2 men,
Yeah.
you should be putting like 4 past them.
And need an OG,
especially since Liverpool doesn't defend well.
Takes an own goal in the 83rd minute.
Exactly. So I mean, I know Expressions was going crazy because I watched his content afterwards, and
that's right, bruv.
Yeah. But that said, if I were a Spurs fan, I would be concerned that a team like Liverpool was able to keep you out of the goal they were able to keep you from scoring 2 until the 96th minute on an own goal, and they were down 2 men. Like, there's something wrong there.
I agree, but then you also have to say they're not going to face a team of Liverpool's quality very often.
Yeah, but defensively, I mean, that's the one thing everybody's concerned about with Liverpool. Defensively, what are they going to do? They're not as strong. They've got this, incredible attacking talent, but there are some gaps in the defense, especially defense to midfield. Linking it up and whatnot, but also it just points out how great Alisson Becker is as a goalkeeper.
Good.
I actually saw some Chelsea people talking about how he's on the way to possibly being the greatest goalkeeper in Premier League history. And I was like, wait a second. I don't know about that.
There's a man that wore a hat.
Exactly.
There's
That's why I was like really taken aback by it, because I'm like, did we not watch Czech? Like,
I mean, to say, well, look at it right now. Who's a better goalkeeper right now?
Alisson, or no?
Is he though? Is he? Ederson? You're talking about Ederson?
Sorry, yeah, not Alisson. Ederson, yeah.
Yeah, Ederson's better than he was. I mean,
is he better than Alisson is right now?
I don't think he is.
There's
a reason why Alisson starts in the national team over him too.
Yeah, that's different because of style of play, and I mean, just Ederson is a better distributor of the ball. Like
if Ederson was at Liverpool, or if Alisson was at City,
I don't think anything changes for either.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Fair enough. No.
I mean, they both have their gaps sometimes.
Yeah.
But as far as the system, I see your point. It's system based. Yes.
Yeah. And also, I forgot to mention this in the Chelsea segment, but Robert Sanchez has been fantastic the last
finally kept 2 clean sheets.
He looked a little shaky at times.
I'm telling you, man,
he has that one gap every single time. As long as he doesn't get beat on it, he'll be all right.
Fair enough.
You go watch what my boy's doing in the La Liga right now, and I don't want to hear any flat from Chelsea fans right now. Kepa is killing it at Real Madrid.
Well, there you go.
Killing it.
One last question for you, Patrick, before we wrap it up here. If you had to say which manager will be fired first, is it Ten Hag? Is it Paul Heckingbottom of Sheffield United? Because Rob Edwards has kind of given himself some breathing room with the win versus Everton. Yeah. Pochettino has given himself some breathing room with the win over Fulham. Ten Hag has no breathing room.
Yeah, it's got to be Ten Hag. I mean, especially with them being in Champions League, he's going to have to perform somewhere. It's either going to have to be in League or it's going to have to be in Champions League.
It's not going to be Champions League. They have a tough game versus Galatasaray tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it's at home, right?
It's at Old Trafford, but they just got beat by Crystal Palace at home.
This is true.
That's because their VAR. That's because their VAR guys accidentally messed up and went to the Tottenham.
The Old Trafford refs were actually at the Tottenham game.
Oh no! Their buses got mixed up and they sent the wrong one.
They didn't draw the lines.
There you go.
Offsides in United. Not in
now it's all clear. It's all clear.
Yeah. The red jerseys is what threw him off. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was the red. Yeah, but
it's gotta be Ten Hag. I mean,
he's on the hot seat.
I think he should be, but
He's on the
brought
hot
in,
seat for
you know,
sure.
People fuss about Chelsea bringing in players, and I understand it. But look at what United's brought in, and look what he's producing.
I mean, nobody will talk about United either, man. No one.
No, nobody will talk about it because it's United. And as I've said, most of the journalists that are in England grew up during the prime years of United, and they're fans of United. So they don't want to talk poorly about them. That's why if you want something to be controversial towards United, you have to read something outside of England where they will critique them and they will say something. But yeah, I mean, I'm frustrated that Chelsea's 11th. I'm frustrated, but I'm also happy because we're not near the bottom right now. But United has no business being in 10th.
They've lost 4 games this season already.
Yeah.
In the league.
And they're lucky they didn't lose 2 others. I mean, they could have lost the Wolves game.
Should have lost to Wolves. Should have lost
the Wolves.
I mean, it's dire straits over there, and it seems like the players don't like playing for Ten Hag. I don't know what it is.
He has that. Who is it? Luis Enrique over at Atletico.
No, he's over at PSG.
Right?
Yeah,
he's at PSG. Yeah,
it's
the Simeone.
Simeone. Yeah,
Simeone?
sorry. Yeah, just like Diego Simeone. He sucks the life out of like creative young players. Like he just absolutely drains them of the outwardly thinking mindset that you need to be a creative. Like that's why I'm shocked Anthony is actually still at United and still plays. Like I would think that he does 2 of those spins under Ten Hag and he's like, "You're done. I'm out. You're done. Get off my field. You're done."
I'm over it.
If we didn't pay $89 million for you, you'd be on the bench so fast. But it's Jadon Sancho's fault, so it's fine.
Oh, it's all Jadon Sancho's fault.
See, it lends support to what Patrick was saying. I mean, Sancho's like, I refuse to apologize to this guy. I mean, obviously, there's been questions about Sancho's maturity, but I mean, that's a big deal to be like, hey, I'm not going to play at all.
Yeah, well, and it's not like Sancho hasn't had documented issues with discipline and being on time and whatnot in literally every place he's ever been. But we don't talk about such things.
No, we don't. No. But I mean, we also need to question, where's Marcus Rashford?
Gone missing.
He has no help.
Yeah.
He has to do everything by every goal he scored this season and the goals he did score last season are by himself.
How dare us continually insult the greatest defending midfielder ever to breathe air like this over and over. And then Bruno, he's the greatest. I can't believe what you all are saying about these legends in the making at Manchester United. It's just the blasphemy. You know.
Yeah, well,
over on the blue side of Manchester. There's nothing wrong on the right side of Manchester.
Oh, yeah, but I already said that.
Yeah. Well, on that note, speaking of legends in the making, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because we're almost to 100 subscribers. I believe it was 95 the last time I looked. Let's go ahead and get that number up. We're so close. And if you like the video, go ahead and like the video. Of course.
Yeah, you got it. No, you had it right. It'll flip.
Trying to make the 100.
It'll flip it. You got to do it right because it'll flip it. No.
Like this, right?
You got to do it backwards. Yeah.
Then because it will.
I can't get it either.
I don't know. 100.
Go with that.
You're close enough.
Absolutely.
100.
But there you go. Champions League's tomorrow. Luton and Burnley is tomorrow. Games coming thick and fast. We are definitely excited. We'll be back on Thursday. So go ahead and get the notification bell on so you know when that one's going to be dropping. And look out for some of this video. I'm going to cut it up into segments, and we'll put some of those out as well during the week. So once again, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. We hope you have a great night, and you will see us next time.